What's up, everybody? Welcome to the podcast. My name is Matt. This is I Am Unchained. This is the first episode. Super excited. Tell you a little bit about what the podcast is. Going to talk about life, problems, solutions, unchaining your mind and freeing yourself from negative thoughts and your feelings. First, I want to start off by talking about who I am and why do I think that I can give anybody advice. What gives me the right to tell anybody anything? Let me start this off by saying I'm not shit. I'm just a guy that's been through a little bit of shit. And when I say a little bit, I mean a lot more than a little bit. Everybody's gone through their stuff. Some of us later in life, some of us earlier in life. I went through a lot at an early point in my life. And fortunately, I was able to learn from it and kind of change it around and change my thoughts and change what I was doing. So I've had an urge lately to kind of help out and, especially people that are younger than me. Like, I've always had this urge to teach a way to think differently. Like, you don't always have to be your past. You don't always have to be the shit that's around you. You don't always have to be what you don't want to be. You know what I mean? So that's kind of a little bit about what we're going to talk about here. A little bit about me. I'm only 34 years old. 2 kids, beautiful wife. Things are good. Things haven't always been the best, but like I said, I was able to change some things, able to think in a different way. It's taken a long time. I have childhood trauma that I never really knew affected me, but now that I'm unchaining, unpacking everything and starting to realize why I am the way I am, I'm able to change the things that I don't necessarily like about myself. So it's been a crazy year or two. When I was younger, let me rewind here. There's going to be on the show probably some hurt feelings. There's going to be things that I've never publicly talked about. And there's just going to be things that maybe I never talked about. But I think I want to just be fully transparent, because this shit's not going to work if I'm not. So I'm just going to be me. And hopefully nobody gets pissed off about what I say. So going forward, I was raised as a younger brother, the youngest brother. I had two older brothers. They were twins, and I had an older sister. And with them being older, I was raised around a lot of older stuff. I always wanted to be older. I was always hanging out with the older kids. So there was violence, alcohol, drugs, stuff like that I just, I was influenced, and not necessarily by my siblings, but just the life and people around us, the things you see, the things that are around you, the things that other people do, you're molding yourself into what you can become at fucking 34. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how things were going as a kid. Now, it wasn't all bad. Like, family was great and stuff like that, typical stuff. Growing up, high school, didn't graduate, didn't go to college, didn't do anything after that. I ended up having kids at a young age. It taught me kind of how to be an adult quick. And then unfortunately at the age of 19, April 2008, um, I got arrested and got a short prison sentence. Um, and had to take it. It is what it is. I made a mistake. I spent a year and a half behind bars. Um, it taught me a lot. I missed, the big 20. I missed my 21st birthday, uh, which is probably a good thing because at the rate I was going, there weren't going to be good things happening for me. So, you know, um, and that's something that a lot of people don't know about me. Uh, but hey, it is what it is. It's a part of my life. It's not who I am. I used to think that it was who I was, right? Uh, and that's when I started going down kind of a dark road where everything that I heard, everything that I saw, everything that I've done, everything that I've been a part of, experienced, smelled, tasted, whatever it might be, everything that you do when you're growing up, it molds you. Like it turns you into a certain person. That's why everybody's different because we all go through different things. Even living under the same roof, like me and my siblings, it's like we all went through the same shit in a sense, but we all have different perception of it. And there could be one slight difference in your life that completely takes you down another road. Um, anyway, I can elaborate more on that, but I used to label myself as a felon, and that held me back a lot. Um, I used to label myself my mistakes. That's who I was. That's who I got to be. Uh, and when I got, older, 30, 32, 34, stuff like that, I started not liking the person that I became. Um, and it just, I'm not going to lie, it led me down a dark road. And fortunately, I was able to pull myself out of it. It wasn't pretty. It is what it is. We all go through shit. But the important thing is I made it out of it. That's the point I'm getting to here. Is I was able to learn from a lot of stuff. Um, you know, so basically, what this podcast is me taking my stuff and everything that I've learned and all the trials and tribulations, the adversities, everything. From living in a car to being broke to being a single parent to being a young parent to eating rice and condiments for like a long time. That's what I lived off of for a long time. I didn't have any money. Uh, you know, that time I had my son and he was young enough that, he didn't eat a whole lot. So he got his chicken nuggets and stuff like that to make it by and, rice and condiments for me. Uh, I've been there, done it. And I don't think that everybody even has to be like super extreme about the things that they've gone through that they need help on. It could be something super, super simple. I just think that I have I have a voice and I have an urge and I want to talk about it and I want to help people. And that's what I want to do with this podcast. That's the goal. That's what's going to happen. I've created a platform, I guess you can call it, that's it's called Survey Monkey. And it sounds like a funny name, but basically it's this anonymous platform where you can go in and you can type things to get it off your chest. Not all of us have somebody to go to. Even if we do have people that we love and care about us and stuff like that, sometimes you need somebody to tell you straight and not necessarily people that are just going to tell you what you want to hear. Uh, and I feel like I can be that person for somebody. I feel like I can have an unbiased opinion and I feel like I can just give advice, you know? and maybe it doesn't resonate with you. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it just doesn't work. Maybe it's not for you, right? Maybe my advice just doesn't stick for you. It doesn't make sense. But I feel like if one person had somebody they can go to that they really just need to talk to or get something off their chest or talk about a problem or get advice or whatever the fuck it might be, uh, I can give something, right? And maybe it'll work, maybe it won't, but we got to try, because the way that the world has changed and how many people I hear that have depression and anxiety and just have to live with it, like, I deal with it. I deal with anxiety all the time. I've dealt with depression since I was a kid. I used to take Zoloft. I don't know if a whole lot of you know about Zoloft. It's just antidepressants. And I took that when I was younger and I stopped taking them. And I've had my ups and downs, super happy. And then I have a year or two where I'm just fucking bleh, So I don't know. I don't want people to live like that. I think everybody could use help, you know. Even if it's just to talk about something, maybe you're just going through some dumb shit and it doesn't have to be super extreme like that. It doesn't have to be super negative or anything like that. It could be as simple as going through something in your job. You hate your boss. You don't get paid enough. How do I do something? How do I do this? What's your advice? It could be something as simple as that. It could be simple as I need to get a pet for my family. Should I get a dog or a cat? I'll give you my opinion on it. I think it's going to be great. Another big thing I want to talk about on here is psychedelics, because I have been experimenting. And when I say psychedelics, I don't mean I draw some acid and go to concerts, or I do mushrooms and go to the theme park. I mean like therapeutic, purposeful, deep psychedelic experiences. Therapy, if you will, although I'm not a therapist. And I think at some point I'm supposed to say, don't listen to anything that I say. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a therapist. I don't have a license. I don't practice medicine. I don't do any of that. I'm just a guy on a podcast that doesn't have a lot of friends. So do what you want with that. But I have been experimenting with my own psychedelic remedies. And I tell you, it has completely changed who I am. That anxiety and depression that I was talking about, next to nothing. And this has probably been, maybe a year. I'm a completely different person. I don't know if any of you follow my Instagram or Facebook or whatever, but I've kind of talked about it a little bit, to where I just was not a happy person. Angry Matt all the time. Just the slightest thing, stub my toe, whole day is ruined. It was that bad sometimes. I made a specific post about me falling in the water at the base of a waterfall. Old Matt would have just lost his shit. It would have been a long ride home. Kids would have been upset. Dad would have been upset. It just would have not been good. But I laughed. It was great. Didn't get mad at all. And that was like a big eye opener. Like, wow, I really changed, and I honestly, in my opinion, I owe a lot of that to mushrooms. And it is what it is. Some people won't agree with that. Some people will. It is what it is. But that's something I want to talk about. And I think I want to talk to more people about it. And I think people should educate themselves. I think it's really important, at least for people to have the knowledge and be able to, make a decision on their own. So, that's another thing, So that's it. That's me. I want to help. That's what that's for, or that's what this podcast is for. In future episodes, we talk more about certain things like that. I plan to cover it all. So if you're at all interested in like me, my family, seeing them on Instagram or whatever, uh, the things we say, the things we talk about, things we post, I think you might find this podcast pretty interesting. Um, I plan on having guests on the show. Matter of fact, the second episode, which doesn't have a date yet, my wife is going to join me, and that'll be my first guest. Uh, she's excited. We're going to talk about a lot. I think we're going to talk about some things that we personal things, because we're human too. Like we're not perfect. Fucking like far from it. Way far from it. Uh, but social media depicts that because nobody wants to post a face where they got tears running down their cheeks, or they're out of gas, or you got road rage. Like nobody posts that. So, we all think that we lead these perfect lives, but we don't. Stacy and I fight. I yell at my kids. My kids are messy. My kids stink sometimes. Like it's not all sunshine and rainbows. I get sick. I'm down and out. We're fucking human. You know what I mean? So I think that'll be cool. I think having people on here also with similar opinions, even with opposite opinions, I would love to have some people on here to just talk about things and get, uh, a different side of the story on things. I don't think I've ever talked to a vegan, at least not that I know of. I've never had a personal conversation. You always hear people talk about it, uh, stories, whatever, but I don't think I've ever actually talked to somebody that's vegan. So to have like somebody on with an opposite view from me, I think that'd be great because I'm all for learning. Like I love people. People are great, except the assholes. You can stay away from me. Um, but most people are great, man. And I think, I think for me at least, I need to have more people around me. We don't even have to think the same. I just need more people around me. I need good energy. I think we all deserve good energy around us. I think we all need it too. You know, especially nowadays. We went through that whole phase where we didn't talk to each other, we didn't see each other. For that one thing that we will never talk about on this podcast. Uh, anyway, there'll be some guests. A couple people in mind. A couple people that want to help too. I've had people reach out to me. If ever there's a topic where maybe I don't have expertise on, maybe somebody that has reached out to me. I said, hey man, if you ever come across this topic, I would love to help. And I got some people like that on the list already, so that'll be fun. I just want to help improve people's lives, man. Certain aspects of your life, even health and fitness. I'm assuming anybody that's listening to this knows me somewhat, whether it's in real life or social media. And I think by now a lot of people know that I'm kind of a health nut. Always have been. I've always done some sort of diet. I've always worked out. Not always. I worked out since, well, prison. Uh, that's kind of the thing you do. And speaking of that, the reason I wanted to record this today is because today marks my 13th year of being released. Doesn't seem like 13. Seems like not that long ago. Anyway, it's kind of a milestone in my life. But back to the health and fitness. I've always worked out. I've always had a passion for it. I've always eaten healthy. Don't get me wrong. I fucking love ice cream. I am not a stranger to sitting down and eating a pint of Ben & Jerry's. Not even going to lie about that. It is what it is, man. I like chocolate. I don't like candy, but I like chocolate. I eat the shit out of some chocolate. Dessert, cake. Ice cream is my big one, though. Ice cream is kind of my kryptonite. But again, I'm human. We're all fucking human, man. Nobody's perfect. But yeah, health and fitness, that'll be important. Important topic on this show, because that's another thing that with the way the world is right now, and food and obesity. I just heard a study the other day, which I'll reference sometimes because I listen to a lot of stuff like that. It's interesting to me. Um, they confirmed that 70% of the population in the US, 70% is obese. Like, what? That's a lot of people, you know? I get overweight. And if you're obese, I'm not clowning on you or anything like that. I'm just saying it's not good. Like, look at us. That's crazy. Um, so maybe there's the whole point, guys, is that I feel like I have just a little bit of knowledge to give. And as corny as this might sound, is if it helps one person, that's cool. You know what I mean? Like, even if it's just one person in my family that just listens to me because I'm their family and, they probably feel some sort of obligation to listen to whatever I'm putting out or whatever. Even if it's just one person, that's it. That's like, damn, Matt said something that just fucking clicked. Like it worked, you know? I just want that because I've had that and it's fucking amazing. Like it's one of those things where it's almost like for the longest time, you've spoken a different language. And all of a sudden, somebody speaks the language that you speak, and it just makes sense, just out of nowhere. And maybe I could be that person. Anyway, I'm rambling, but that's basically what the show is about me, about my family, about the things that I like, about the people around me, about my friends, about my family, about helping people, man. Um, on my second episode, I will be giving away a free product from me and my wife's company. I Am Artists and Creations, which kind of goes hand in hand with this podcast. I Am Unchained, uh, where we focus on I am affirmations. We focus on being better. If nobody knows what I am affirmations are, we're going to go through that at some point, I'm sure. But, essentially, I am health, I am joy, I am faith, I am confidence, I am wealth. You are whatever you say you are. You are everything. And as hokey as that sounds, it's true. You are anything and everything that you want to be because you have the power of it and you have control of your own thoughts and you have control of your own life. And the way you view things can change. The way you think can change. You're not stuck. You don't have to be stuck for the rest of your life. If you want to be stuck, by all means, be stuck. If you don't think you're stuck, then great. Keep living your life and say what you want to say and do what you want to do. But you can always change, man. You can always be what you want to be. And I think people lose sight of that because me personally, I feel stuck a lot. Not so much anymore, but I do feel stuck, man. Sometimes I don't know where to go. And then sometimes I hear those words that motivate me again and get me moving. And that's what I need. And that's what I say, why I say that we need more people around us like that. It's that whole thing. Show me your 5 friends and I'll show you what you are in 5 years or whatever it says. Whoever said that, the same thing, man. Your frequency is what you. Wes Watson said that. The guy's amazing. Anyway, your frequency is what you frequently see. But what you see is all perception. So, You have to change the way you look at things, and the things you look at will change. I forget who said that, but that was a good one too. So anyway, that's what we're going to talk about. That's what's going on here. If I'm rambling, it'll get better. But I got to put the first one out, got to make that jump. That's another thing too, man, is a lot of you guys have a lot in you. Like, I've heard people with really good ideas. I've heard people with really good thoughts, but you never put it in action, and I'm a victim of that too. Like, I'll wait for something to be absolutely perfect before I do it. But then there's been times where I've just never done it. I just gave up on it before I even started because it wasn't absolutely perfect. Like today, not going to lie, I didn't have anywhere to set this up. I'm in my garage, so this probably sounds like shit. It's cold out here. I have a coat, sweatshirt, and a beanie on, and my slips because my feet are cold. But, I told myself I was going to do it today, and I got to do it today. And I'm just kind of winging it. But it'll get better. And this podcast is going to be dope. And I'm excited for all you guys, and I appreciate the ones that did tune in. And I hope you come around for the second one. Like I said, there'll be a gift on the second one. Somewhere in that podcast, I will give you a word to share this podcast on Instagram and write that word on it and tag me, and then you'll be entered to win some free stuff from I Am Artisan Creations. And if that's not your thing, then that's not your thing. And that doesn't bother me either, because I am not bothered anymore. I'm just kidding. I'm bothered by a lot. But you know what I mean. We have control over our thoughts. So thanks, guys. I appreciate you. And we'll see you on the next one.